Good afternoon, I'm John Burton-Race and I'm going to cook one of my favourite tarts. It's a fig tart. They're absolutely delicious. Buy the black figs, don't buy the green ones. The green ones are great for chutney or for preserving for cheese or something like that. These black ones, I think they come from Spain, are sweet and delicious. We used to have a fig tree here, but it was the wrong type. Anyway, for this dish, I've lined a 22 centimetre tart tin with a pastry. The pastry is literally 115 grams of plain flour, sieved with half a teaspoon of mixed spice, 70 grams of icing sugar, about 80 grams of butter, lots of butter, we want it sort of like a biscuit, and one whole egg to bind. So I just mix that all together, roll it out, and what you can do is brush the surface with a lot of flour and then roll it out and line the tin and then put it in the fridge for 20 minutes, half an hour, so that the butter sets up. Trim it around the outside and blind bake it for 15 minutes, and that's what you get. It's just cooked. It's crispy on the outside, slightly soft in the inside, but that's because it's going back in the oven. Now for the filling, it's a Frangipane, and a Frangipane basically is anything to do with almonds. So here I've got 70 grams of softened unsalted butter. You just put that in the bowl. And here, I love the smell of that, is soft brown sugar, cane sugar, not your ordinary caster sugar or granulated sugar. It's soft cane sugar and it's delicious. Again, 70 grams, and that goes into the unsalted butter. And I wish I had some amaretto left, because for a Frangipane I love to put a teaspoon or two of amaretto, not almond essence, I can't stand that, it's all synthetic and horrible flavour, but lovely amaretto into a Frangipane is quite lovely. I haven't got any left, I think we must have drank the last of it last week. So we just mix the butter into the cane sugar, 70 grams of each, very roughly. You can use a spatula. I've got an old wooden spoon here, but a spatula will do, or even a small whisk. But basically, you just make sure that the sugar is mixed into the butter. Right, okay, and that's about right. And then it's 70 grams of ground almonds, which goes straight in, mixed up. And as I said before, at this stage, once the almonds have gone in, if you put in a little bit of amaretto, it really does enhance the flavour a little bit. You just put that in, 70 grams of almonds, and we bring the whole thing together with a whole egg. I went out and got this egg this morning, look how fresh that is. You see it's got the layers of egg whites and this lovely yolk. It's great having your own chickens. They do make a bit of a mess, but it's just so nice to have your own eggs when you're baking. So ground almonds, butter and sugar, simple as that. And then in goes the egg, whole egg. Whisk that up. Okay, and there it is all mixed together. The next thing I'm going to do is fill the tart. Pour it into the middle of the tart and you can flatten it out afterwards. Just spread that over the tart base. Level it off a little bit. Let's get that out of the way. And now for the figs. Just move this off to one side so I can show you the figs. So the figs really lovely and soft, beautifully ripe. Just nick the top off and discard it. Nick a little bit off the bottom so they stand up. Cut the fig in half and then each half into 3. And then lay them down, skin side down, into the base of the tart, all the way around. What will happen is, when this is cooking, the Frangipane will come up around the outside of the fig and cover them slightly. And then what I'm going to do is make a honey and orange glaze once it comes out of the oven. But this is really lovely. If I was eating this tonight, my preference would be an almond milk ice cream, or if you can buy the pistachio paste, make yourself a pistachio ice cream. It works so well with figs. It really does. It's delicious together. Okay, so here's the tart finished. Figs around the outside, the centre one is cut on the round for the centre, and the last thing I've got to do is just sprinkle a few little flaked almonds over the top, and then it's in the oven for 15 minutes on gas mark for 180 degrees Celsius. Right, so tart's in the oven. It's going to take about 15 minutes. While it's in the oven, I'm going to prepare the glaze. So I've got to get a little pan here, and it's very, very simple. We'll take some zest of one orange, and what you don't want is any of the white pith underneath the zest, because that's very, very bitter. You just want all the oils that are in the orange. That's why it's always very important when you're using citrus fruit to buy fruit that's unwaxed. In other words, it's not dipped in all those chemicals, because at the end of the day you're going to eat it. So it's worth paying a few pence more for a proper orange or a proper lemon or a proper lime if you're going to use the zest in your cooking. Just get the zest off here. And then you need, this is natural honey, you need about 50 millilitres of natural honey, and to dilute that we're going to take the juice of the same orange as we took the zest from. Take out the juice, and we warm this all together on the stove. So when the tart's cooled a little bit, we'll just brush over with the orange and honey glazed. In goes the orange juice, orange zest and honey. Now take this pan to the stove and bring it up to the boil, but don't boil it. It takes about 2 minutes. I'll just go off and do that now. Okay, so here's the fig tart. It's just set, slight wobble in the middle, you can see. And now what I'm going to do is just let it sit there and relax and rest for about 10 minutes. And as soon as it's cool, not cold but cool, I'm going to brush it with this lovely honey and orange glaze all over the top. It's going to be delicious. I wish you guys could smell this. So here's the fig tart, out of the oven and set. It's cooled slightly, about 10 minutes. And the last thing to do now is to brush it with this lovely honey and orange glaze. So just dab that on quite a lot, be generous. And this glaze with the honey works perfectly with the tart. You can eat this on its own, but I love it, as I said, with either almond milk ice cream, or if you can get hold of it, or make it yourself, pistachio ice cream. Pistachio and figs, just a marriage made in heaven actually. So there you go. A generous amount of the honey and orange glaze. Some of this will seep into the tart, into the almond frangipane, and leave a lovely shiny sticky surface on the top. And there you are. Tart done, job done. Fig tart.